That Sunday Night Live show. I'm Brad, and Susan is finishing up putting the kids down, so she will be out with us here momentarily. We had a quick little game of family hide and seek going on, so always, family's always got to come first. So sorry, we're a couple minutes late here. But this week I have been working, and I think they're just out of frame here, but I have been working on a bunch of drawers for the final pieces of the cabinet for the office renovation. So here's one of the drawers I got going on. And if you'll notice this little piece here on the side, which is not typical for cabinets or drawers, but you have to watch the video to find out why it's there. But we're coming around the corner on finishing this up and getting into final paint, getting that installed into the bedroom. I don't know why I said bedroom, office. And I'm so ready to be done with this project. It has been dragging and dragging and dragging, and we've had all kinds of things come up, but that's just a bunch of excuses. But basically, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. The latest in the line of craziness was my son dislocated his finger at school playing basketball. So that was our fun thing to deal with on Friday. So hope everybody is doing well out there tonight. And I wanted to thank a new member to the FTBT Builders Club, who is Gwen Himbury. Gwen, thank you so much for joining the Builders Club. If you're not familiar with that, is basically the inner circle of the Fixes Build That audience. She will get access, as well as all the Builders Club people, to early access to videos and shout outs in the live, as well as shout outs in the final the final countdown. I don't know, the end of the full YouTube videos, and of course free plans. So if you're interested, go check it out, fixthisbuildthat.com/Builders Club. And thank you to all those Builders Club members that are here tonight. All right, cool. Let's see who we have here today. All right, we got Eddie Woodworks. What's up, Eddie, from Brazil? Awesome. Travis is in the house. Frank, how's it going, Frank? What does it say? Penzar? Frank Penzar, awesome. Alan, Brian, we got Will and James and Tyrone and Daniel. How's it going, guys? And Ryan Matthews just jumped in here. All right, cool. Yeah, so and if you're into NFL, I know this is, I don't know if the game is still going on right now. I know it was close, but the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, which is insane. I lived in Cincinnati for 13 years, as you probably know. And Susan, it looks like the 1 minute to go, Rams up by 3 over the Niners with the ball. So they're at the San Francisco 13. Looks like the Rams are going to take it home, potentially. These games have been great. I've not been watching a lot of them, but man, they've all been so close in the playoffs. So it's been kind of cool. But big congrats to the Bengals. Whenever I was in Cincinnati, the Bengals were atrocious. And if we ever made it to the playoffs, we would immediately get trounced out if it was like a wild card or something. So seeing them win their first playoff game since 1980 and then making it to the Super Bowl is pretty insane. So congrats to them. All right. Let's see here. Ryan, got a question about starting a business. Oh, hold on. First of all, welcome to everybody. Welcome. Mixin Creations, what's up? Who we got? 9C22, Daksh. What's up, Daksh from India? Beer of the week. Let's see here. Beer of the week is, we're going back to the Honky Tonk Haze Fest. So this is a local brew. I've not been drinking as much beer. I'm trying to back off, I was getting a little out of, my dad bod was getting a little dad bod plus. And so I was like, you know what? I need to cut out some empty calories, and so I've not been drinking the beer as much. So you're well, buy a 6-pack lasts me 3 weeks now of different kinds of beer, so yeah, still good. And a big thank you to Katie for the super chat that we bought that with the money from. All right, going back to it, Ryan Matthews had a question. He says, question about starting a business. What in general should I make or build, and where, who, and how to sell it? Oh, Ryan, that is a very small question with a very big answer. There is so much that's wrapped into that, Ryan. And when I say we, John Malecki and myself, we used to get those questions all the time. John more on the product side because he was making custom furniture, still is. I've kind of gone back to it now. And me with content. So people say, how do I do content, and get into that. And so we did a whole podcast on it. So if you go check out the Made for Profit podcast, Made for Profit, FOR, not the number 4. We stopped doing the podcast a while back, but we've got 125 episodes of conversation all around that topic. Literally, that's the entire reason we made the podcast, was to give people a reference for that exact question. So go check that out. And, there's 125 episodes. They're all around an hour a piece. So you got some good content out there. But, in short, you can skin a cat 100 different ways, right? There's so, and that's what was cool. Like when we interviewed people, you can hear how all kinds of different people. So we have some episodes that were just about topics like pricing or marketing or social media. But then we would bring in people who are doing this, whether they're content creators or, we had a lot that were actually product makers and people who are full-time woodworkers. So it's great to hear how other people did it, as well as hear some of the content in there. So I have people that DM me all the time still that are like, oh man, I just found Made for Profit. And I'm like, thank you so much. It's amazing. I'm learning so much. So go check that out, Ryan. And I think it'll be more information than you could ever have asked for. All right. Oh, the Rams are kneeling now. Okay, so it looks like the Rams are taking it home, huh? There it goes. Rams 20-17 final. Rams Bengals in the Super Bowl. Not sure anybody would have guessed that at the beginning. All right, Travis. Travis is just he's speculating on Aaron Rodgers. Oh, back-to-back years, a team will play in their home state. Where's it at? Is it in Cincinnati or is it in LA? It's probably in LA with the new. Are they in a new stadium? Are they in the same? Well, no, they're the LA Rams. Are they in the new? I don't remember. Isn't there a new stadium in LA? They made a new stadium because the Chargers and the Rams are there now. Anyway, congrats to the Rams now. Frank, yeah, I'm glad you could make it, Frank. Always good to see some new folks coming in. And if you have any questions, just toss them out there, man. All right, Manuel, Rosalie, how's it going? I know, James, this is actually pretty decent, this beer. I like it. It's tasty. I think Susan, I wonder if maybe she texted me. I heard a little text come in. Here, I see her. Oh, yes, Susan is dealing with a child problem. We played hide and seek before this. We had a family hide and seek throughout the house, and we knew we were cutting it close, but we were like, all right, we'll do one more. And then my oldest son hid in my middle son's bed, and like the middle guy, he gets his bed just how he wants. It's the loft bed that I made. If you watch the loft bed video, the big blue loft bed, it's like a little cave up there, and he had all of his pillows situated just how he wanted them, and the other son hid behind those pillows, and so it messed everything up, and he was not happy about that. So apparently that's Susan's dealing with the aftermath of that. So maybe she'll be here, maybe she won't. All right, Frank Abamonte, how's it going, man? A couple Franks in the house here. A big inspiration for Frank. I always tell people about it, whether or not they're woodworkers, so much knowledge. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, man, that was awesome. And I had like a lot of people were like, man, why aren't you doing the podcast anymore? It's just a time thing, honestly. And it's a time and payback, right? So as a business owner, which John and I both are, we have to put our time where it's most beneficial to our businesses. And and Made for Profit was a third business between John and I's, or in addition to John and I's. And we're, it's a partnership that we created. So it is an LLC partnership. And at some point the growth stopped on that. And it just it kind of chugged to a halt. And so and we were getting some revenue off of some ads and some sponsorships and things like that. Excuse me. But then it kind of leveled out, and the growth leveled out as far as listeners, as well as the Instagram side to try to grow that. So as we kept putting time in it, like that part stagnated, and then our businesses were like booming, and so it got harder and harder to dedicate the time to do it. And then like all these new things that John and I are both doing. John moved shops twice, and he's hiring people. I was looking to hire people, and as we were doing all that, it just got to be where it was like it was even hard just to find the time to record and then deal with all that and do all the research, because it wasn't just and there's a lot of podcasts out there that are great, like Wood Talk or Modern Makers Podcast, where it's just a conversation, right? There's no prep. And if our podcast had been that, I think we'd still be doing it, but it wasn't, right? It was, and John had a baby, so there was that. Because we had to prep, right? Because we had to like coordinate interviews and or find topics, and then like make sure we do some research on the topics to bring the latest and greatest information, or just like do outlines and all that. That was really what was the downfall of it. Is like we didn't want to just like mail it in and just talk off the cuff, because that's not what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a resource for knowledge that we would pass on, and we didn't feel like we'd be doing the audience the proper service if we were doing that. So that's a little behind the scenes of kind of like after all that came, and then COVID, that because COVID kind of like the world was like going crazy at that point when COVID first hit, like early 2020. And so we were like, things were going crazy. We were trying to figure everything out. And so, yeah, that's a little behind the scenes of why we stopped doing it. But again, we have it there as a resource for you guys. So please feel free to check that out or refer other people. Yeah, COVID killed MFP. Let's just say that. Oh, the SoFi Stadium. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, Brian. I keep seeing. I never connected the dots. I never really thought about it. SoFi. I've seen people doing. Like I think Mr. Beast did a hide and seek in there, and then Dude Perfect was doing some stuff. But I never, because I don't watch West Coast games that much. All right, because that's the NFC, and I watch AFC games. Let's see here. Frank works at Best Buy. Send you a wireless mic. It'll change your life. Dude, I know. I was I have wireless mics. We actually had this conversation about microphones and stuff. I was thinking about the Rode wireless, the Rode Pro not GoPro. The Rode Go 2, not GoPro. But whatever. Anyway, getting like the smaller wireless ones so that we don't have to have this. So we are looking into that, Frank. So, but Best Buy, that sounds like a fun place to work, potentially. I know every place could be a fun place, but if you've got electronics and you're into that kind of stuff, then Best Buy is like working in a toy store. Katie, what's up, girl? Hey Teresa, I am happy. I'm happy for the Bengals because we still have a lot of family in Cincinnati. All of Susan's family is over there, so and I got a bunch of friends that are still in Cincinnati. So we're getting all the Who Day texts and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited. I wish that had happened when we were up there, but and I wish that the Titans would not have gotten beaten by them. But if there's anybody else to have it, Cincinnati. I'm good for that because they're the ones that beat us, and then plus with our history up there in Cincinnati. I always hated them because they were so bad. They were literally the worst team of the 2000s. They had the worst record between the decade of 2000 or 2001 and 2010 or 2000 and 2009, whatever way they looked at it. They were the worst team in the league for basically the entire time I lived in Cincinnati. So kind of hard to love them. Katie, date night with the husband. Love it. That's awesome. Susan and I need a good date night one of these days here soon. We've been talking about getting away and doing for a couple different reasons, but one, to go do some business planning, go get a cabin and go for the weekend and just do the business, but then also for us as well. And I try to separate those. So, or go and just have one day that's talking all about the business, and then another day or two where we just go have fun. But yes, date nights are very important in any relationship, I think, and we've been not doing a very good job. Our date nights are usually on the couch watching. We love watching Netflix and movies on the couch, but it's good to get out. All right. What else we have here? Ooh, Katie started the kitchen tile project. Love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't spend as much at Best Buy anymore, Travis. I used to spend a ton of money there, man. Back when, I don't know if you guys are, a lot of you are old enough, but back in the old days of Circuit City, it was like Circuit City versus Best Buy. Those are the best days. I was talking to Susan during Christmas, and I was like reminiscing about, and let me know if you guys are with me or not. How many of you used to get the service merchandise catalog? Do you remember service merchandise? Who remembers service? Which sounds, that was like the worst name for a store ever. Service merchandise. That seems like a horrible name. It's like the most generic. It's like fix this, build that. But yeah, service merchandise. They would see, and like Sears as well. But service merchandise was like a little bit more like techie, it seemed like. And you'd get that service, but it was like techie, but then it was like camping gear and sporting goods and like, you know, the Walkman and like Nintendo 60, not Nintendo 64, like NES, Atari, you know, like I remember getting the service merchandise catalog and it was just, you know, it was a thick thing. They'd send that and I'd just go through there with like a Sharpie and I'm just circling just everything, like all kinds of, you know, lawn darts and like all these, you know, all the dangerous toys that we used to be able to have when we were kids. I used to love that. I feel bad for kids now. This is like all, you know, like I just love having that catalog. You just flip through it, you know, it's like you held it in your hands. That was amazing. Is anybody else a service merchandise fan? Daniel remembers service merchandise. Excellent. Alan. That was the best. Oh, Radio Shack. Yes. Yeah. No, that was a good one too, Katie. I love going into Radio Shack. I would always look, it was like back when I was, trying to install like car stereos and stuff and doing, you know, putting some bumps in the trunk, if you will, like a subwoofer back there. I remember like I'd go to Radio Shack and I'd like try to get all the connections and then like I'd go in and get like because I didn't know what I was doing. I would get like the cheap amplifier that was like horrible. To try to run my subwoofer, and I was like, no, you got to get like something better than that, dude. I was like, I don't know. I just like went to Radio Shack. I don't know. I miss Radio Shack. Did they reboot? Did Radio Shack reboot? Are they like an online thing now? Is that? I know they went bankrupt at one point. I'm looking it up. Radio Shack. Is that a thing? Like if I just go to RadioShack.com, what happens? Let's find out. RadioShack.com. It's there. It's wait a second. Get out of here. This is great. So it's got Radio Shack. It's got, wait, hold on. What is this? Crypto. It's crypto now. Bringing cryptocurrency to the mainstream. They are a DeFi protocol, apparently. That is hilarious. So somebody, that is so funny. Because I think that's like, or it's a very similar logo if it's not the old logo. That is great. There you go, Radio Shack. They're now crypto apparently. That's hilarious. Oh, all right. What else do we have in here? Montgomery Ward's. I don't think we had Montgomery Ward's. Will, was that a department store? I don't think we had those around here. I grew up around here in Nashville. I wouldn't spend if you didn't get the employee discount. Yeah, I know you. I hear you, Travis. I used to work at a grocery store, and we would get like discount off the private label brand, and so like that's all we would buy and it was like a 10% discount, but it was still, it's already cheaper and it's 10%, and so like I knew the good ones to get. Don't ever buy private label peanut butter. That's one I will never buy. Always buy Jif. That's my go-to. All right, what else do we have in here? That's right. Dennis, what's up, my man? I don't even know what Montgomery Ward's is. Oh, okay, like Sears. Got it. A big one in Texas. Okay, cool. Yeah, we had we now have we used to have Dillard's. I think Dillard's is gone, and now it's like Belk. It's been so long. I went to the mall. I think I took my sons to the mall like last year. I never go to the mall. I haven't been to the mall for so long, but I remember when the big mall opened down here in '91 when I was in high school, or when I was in middle school at the time. And yeah, that was everything. Going to the mall, going to the arcade, and then like going and like just looking at girls, like acting like you were gonna like talk to them, but you never did. And like, oh yeah, that girl, oh man, oh yeah, look at her. like the worst, like 12-year-old, just like a bunch of us being like, oh yeah, no, I think she was looking at me. Oh my gosh. No, she wasn't. All right, what else we got here? Let's see, Lori, have Susan and I tried the limited time Diablo Dare sandwich at Arby's? What? It's supposed to be hot, and they serve a free vanilla shake with it. Ooh, ends in February. I tell you what, I do like a good Arby's sandwich. Arby's roast beef. We've got the meats. I have always been a big fan of Arby's. And while we're throwing it back, Rax roast beef. That was like before. That was what was here in Tennessee when I was young. It was Rax roast beef and Mr. Gaddy's pizza, all you can eat buffet. Like those were like right down the street from our high school, and like, yeah, those were the jams. So I do love a good Arby's sandwich, but I have to be honest, it's been quite some time since I've eaten at Arby's. Probably travel. I probably ate there while I was traveling at some point, but I can't even, like the curly fries are the bomb. So I'm probably not going to make it. I'm definitely not going to make it by February 6th. That's like this week. But that sounds good. But I do love some good hot sauce. So if you guys have any good hot sauce recommendations, let me know on that too. The mall right behind the high school. Yeah, I bet you had a lot of kids skipping class for that, Katie. I tell you what, guys, I've been working on these cabinets, and a couple things. I'll grab these because they're just awesome. If you've never used, if you're making cabinets of any sort, really, one thing that I kind of like never really took the time to do, I'm actually just realizing this isn't going to work. Why do they do this? That is so weird. I got these drawer slides, and these are, what are they? They're, I guess they're the Home Depot brand, Everbuilt, but I think they are basically rebranded Liberty, because they used to have Liberty drawer slides. So I think that's what they do. But soft close, all right? So soft close drawer slides, I kind of have mixed feelings about them. But the part that I don't like about soft close drawer slides is like the beginning. Like, it's like you have to like, I mean, obviously I'm like trying to do it here, but when you're first opening it, you got to like overcome that spring. So it's kind of like hard to open, and then it lets go. But on the reverse, it softly closes. So if you slam it, then it won't slam. But if you're slamming a drawer anyway, I mean, it's like all the stuff in it's going to fly to the back unless you've got it really nicely divided. So that, and then this one specifically, I don't know what is going on with this. It's got this weird, let me take it out. It's got this weird thing in the back, like this. So typically you would have these style slots, right? You'd have 1, 2, and then a third one in the back. Well, this one has this crazy like star-shaped kind of thing. I don't know, I'm not on the right thing. I don't know if y'all can really make that out, but it's like, it's not, the slots. It's got this, you can't see that, but I'll hold up. It'll be out of focus, but maybe you'll get the picture. Yeah, so it's got this like star-shaped, like 6-pointed star, hexagon star type thing. But anyway, I don't know why they did that here. And then when I'm looking at it, inside here, the part of the closing mechanism is this little pin that sticks out. Right in that first gray part, right there in the middle. There's that little gray pin. And so when I was looking at it, it like rides really close to this little star. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to put a screw in this back one. And so the problem is then I'm only going to have 2 screws in the drawer. And I really like to have 3. Sometimes I do 4. So I don't know what that's all about. And I'm kind of like what the heck? Why would you do that? Even the drawer slide, like how it doesn't really have them. I guess it has these mounting holes in the back, but then there's two instead of a center. I don't know. These are kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about these. So I hope they work well. I've never used this specific brand, but the video is sponsored by Home Depot. So I was getting all the materials there at Home Depot. And I don't know. Has anybody used these Everbuilt soft close things before? Have you had issues with that? And the nice thing about it is these drawers are really small. They're not small. They're actually a fairly large drawer, but they are shallow. So I'm not going to be putting in a whole lot of weight in them. You know, they're only 2 3/4 inch or 2 1/4, depending upon where it is. So I think it should be fine with 2 screws. But I don't want to risk it. You know, I mean, it's the last thing I want to have happen is like pulling it out and like, or it's settling and sagging and all the fronts get all messed up. So I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings about that. So we'll see how it works out. That's one thing I do not like about drawer slides. Handling them is that like they're always all greased up, and so I just got grease all over the computer. All right. What else do we have here? Frank says Speedy's hot sauce. He's local to me and makes the best sauces I've ever had. Speedy's hot sauce. Where? Out of where, Frank? I have to look them up. We've received a bunch of hot sauce from a supporter of the channel, Drew Hall. He has sent us several care packages of Hoff's hot sauce, and that was really cool because I've never heard of him either. But he is actually in Chattanooga, which is not too far from here. And yeah, I feel like there's like so many people I'm probably missing, right? It's like all these little craft, the craft hot sauces. It's like don't like Frank's hot, not you, Frank. Frank's hot sauce. Hey, that's fine, like sriracha and all that. But I'm really enjoying like finding these craft ones. And I got a pack from First We Feast. It's Heatonist, is the heatonist.com. And we had like a few of those that were their own little craft ones, and then some from like another few little places, which Hoff's was one of them. And so it's been fun finding these little smaller shops that are making hot sauce. I like it a lot. Mixing 115-inch wide Cubby's cabinets right now. Dadgum. How are you doing it? How are you doing it? Are you doing how many multiple cabinets, or are you doing it like all somehow built in? I don't even know how I guess you could do, if you could do a 10-foot, 1x across the top to tie it all together, and then just the dividers and all that. But yeah, how are you doing 115 inch? I'd love to know, because the one I'm doing is like 90. It's 8 feet, so it's 96 inches. Lori, do soft close drawer slides mount the same as regular ball bearing? They do, and yeah, I'm glad you figured out. I was counting in the shop the other day when I was doing it, because I was thinking about like putting it in the video. I didn't say anything about it, but just in the shop, I have 51 drawers that I've made, and that doesn't count, in the inside. So I think I'm well over 100 drawers, and it's like, yeah, you learn a thing or two sometimes after making so many drawers. But they are the same way, Lori. They just do. So like, this is the weird part. It's because of that mechanism back here. So I'm not sure how this screw is gonna work out for me, but I guess we're gonna find out. Yeah, there's no way I can put a screw right there. So I'm gonna have to just go with 2. I've used soft close drawer slides before, but not this specific brand. And it really doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess it does, but I don't like that. What I'll probably end up doing is like do multiples. So I'll do one here, one here, one here, one here, I guess, and do 4 or at least 3. But yeah, there's no way that you can put a screw in that back one. So in that sense, they do mount a little bit differently. Let me see if I can show you guys this. Let me see. So you'll see. Okay, wait. So there's the pin up at the top. Here, I'm gonna pull this up because I want you guys to see this. I'll just focus it. And Oh, this is going to be a disaster because I got to look over here at the camera because it's not live. Oh, look at that. Okay, there we go. All right, now I got to push this. All right, so you see right here is the little pin, and that, you know, is sticking out, and that actually hits this little mechanism in here, the little plastic piece. Am I on the screen? Yeah. It hits the little plastic piece in here, and that's what does the soft close. But when you go over, like, I don't know what this hole's for, but if you see how close that is, I'm sorry, I'm like trying to do this backwards. I know this is probably horrible, but if you could see that little pin, it is like right there, like it is like right. So there's no way like a screw head could sit there in that hole. I was thinking, oh, I'll just put a screw in that. That's not going to work. It's almost like it's catching. I kind of hear it. It is catching. Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but let me refocus this. By the way, I don't have. I need to. I'm actively looking for. I'm not actively looking for a new camera. I'm actively waiting for the camera I want to become available. And get autofocus. My gosh, I hate not having autofocus. I have it, but it's like loud and it's horrible. All right. Did that make sense? Go back here. How much weight in the drawers? Katie, not much. Not much. Oh, Virginia Beach, cool. Hey, Scott Walsh, how's it going? Yeah, not much, Katie. It's just gonna have like camera gear in it. So like, you know, the drawer probably weighs, I don't know, how much do these drawers probably weigh? Like, this is my weighing face. I don't know, like 8 pounds, maybe, ish, something like that. And, you know, I probably won't have more than 5 or 10 pounds worth of stuff in it. So, yeah, those are, you know, these are like 100-pound drawer slides, which is complete overkill, but, you know, whatever. Honey habanero, Frank, that sounds delightful. Let's see, building in 4 different sections so I can transport and then assemble at the customer's house. Oh, awesome. First big commission project. Fantastic, Mixon. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. I hope everything goes smoothly. I'm sure it won't because, you know, that's how woodworking works. But I'm sure that you'll work your way around it if you do have any issues. Installing in somebody else's house, whew, man, I mean, I know that's like one of those things that I think you just get better with over time and that you'll have to learn. I mean, just installing in my own house, right? I've learned so much. Like, oh, like walls, don't ever take a measurement at the back of a wall if you're at a cove, or even if it's just like a, you know, let's say you've got a nook, you know, that's maybe that wide. Like, don't take the measurement in the back and then make your cabinets to fit that. Like, take it in the back and then also go 24 inches out where the front of your cabinets are going to be and measure that, because that could be significantly, you know, in or out compared to the back. So yeah, hopefully you're watching you know, lots of YouTube videos of people who are doing this full time already and getting some tips from them. We're gonna go with that's my weighing face for the title because that's kind of fun. All right, what other questions we got out here, guys? I hear Susan milling around in the kitchen. We'll see if she comes out here. Lori, question that you have, why some people set back the front about a 16th? Yep. So it's funny because I was just reading, like, I read the instructions on those things because I just wanted to see what they said about the mounting. And they showed, like, they didn't even show that the same one. I was not happy with that. They showed like a regular drawer slide where you would put a screw in that third hole in the back, which this one you obviously can't. And in the instructions, they said, set it back a 1/16 of an inch. So my guess, because I've done that as well, I typically set them back a 1/16 and versus flush. My guess there is that it's that so that it doesn't, so you don't, if it's flush, you have the potential of it like being fully closed if there's like any other gap between the face frame, but being fully closed and not being fully closed, if you know what I mean. The drawer slide would be fully closed, but there'd still be some gap because of whatever. Versus if you put the drawer slides a 1/16 of an inch back, when, you know, the thing that's going to stop, the drawer slide's never going to fully close, like to have it all the way in. And so you're going to have that like slight pressure. That's what I've always thought, because I've wondered about that. And so that's because like when you close the drawer slides, they kind of lock in place. There's actually like a little rubber, it's like a little rubber grommet at the end, and that's what locks the drawer slide in place. And so like having it just not quite all the way fully seated, I think just keeps it under tension a little bit so that it'll stay in place better is what I've always guessed, but I don't know if that's true or not. I've never talked to a drawer slide manufacturer to see if that's actually why they do it, but that's my guess. But I've done them flush as well. I've done them flush. I've done them a 16 back, and I've never had an issue when I've done them flush either. So, but I typically just do them a 16th back just because they say so. And here she is.
I was trying so hard to get out.
Hello.
So long.
Welcome.
Hi.
Susan is just a part-timer on the show now.
Every Sunday night, like questions and concerns and why am I growing up so fast and why is my brother already a teenager and like,
what is life?
It's pretty much. I mean, deep questions from an 11-year-old, and then there was a 10-year-old who said, "You gave him that much time. Don't leave me." So I had to pry myself away. Thank you. What is
the honky tonk.
Oh, the honky tonk. It smells salty out here.
Susan, my wife.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm late.
Welcome, Susan.
Really late. The kids care not at all. I was like, I am late for the live. They're like, yeah, we don't want you to go out there.
They don't care.
They don't care. But I did.
They don't care.
Whew, man.
Halligan's and Batten's Adventures.
What is this?
From Arkansas. What's up?
Oh, hi.
Halligan's and Batten's. What kind of adventures do we have
That
at
sounds
Halligan's and
exciting.
Batten's? I would love to. Like, are you adventuring out?
Maybe they take people out on
Travel?
adventures.
Yeah. Do you run like a zip line company?
That would be cool. Brad wants to do one of those.
We'd love to come by.
I would be petrified the whole time, but I'll do it.
Oh, geez, Katie. The kitchen is seven inches deep? My kitchen is 7 inches deep.
What?
And there's 1.5 inch difference in the cabinetry height from the, I'm not sure what the 7 inches deep means. But
It's a
yes,
really
we
narrow
were,
kitchen.
yeah, I don't know what she's saying there, but
Right.
but I made like a nook in there and made the cabinet stick out past it.
Okay,
But
yeah.
we were talking about installing cabinets, and I was saying like make sure you measure the back and the front because it could be very different. And if you build the cabinets to match the wider one, you might be in for a rude awakening when you go to install them.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have face frames, you can always, most people do like a filler strip on the end to combat that anyway. Katie, 7 feet, not inches. Will, the next project it's going to have those drawers. It's going to be a 8-foot span of cabinets in the office. So third part of the office makeover, getting rid of these huge metal industrial shelves and putting in the nice sleek cabinetry that is going to be awesome.
It's going to be
I'm excited.
so
That's going to be probably the most
amazing.
transformative
Visually.
in that room.
And
Other than
just in general.
The paint. Yeah, because it's like huge, because we have these huge, they're literally they're metal racks that are 8 foot tall and 8 foot wide.
They're meant for like your garage or something.
Right, and I think 20 inches deep. But they're not, they look nice. Like they're not like junky,
ratty.
and they're not like the chrome wire shells or anything like that.
Right.
They're like the heavy duty ones, not the most heavy duty, but they're like heavy duty ones from like Costco. I think is where we got them.
They're just not.
But yeah, it's just not
nice
it's not what we need anymore.
Right. And
we had those for shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so like as you can imagine, and we do have 9-foot ceilings here downstairs, but 8 foot of that filled with just black shelving, and then 8 foot wide, which takes up almost the whole wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think the room's probably there's probably another 3 feet on the side of that. The room's probably 12 feet. It's probably 12 feet wide.
I would say that getting rid of those shelves is more impactful even than the paint.
Yeah, well, because you couldn't see the paint.
Because it's just like,
because even if you took that down,
it's the
just
very
having
first thing you see when you walk in there.
And it is, right. So it's like literally as you enter the room, it's
right there.
On that facing
It's like,
wall, so.
hello, industrial shelving. So it's going to be amazing. We are very excited about it. And Brad's been working really hard. So we're excited to see it in action.
Yes.
We got to go through all the stuff. That'll be fun.
Love it. Let's see here. Oh, I missed a question from Jason up there. Making end grain coasters, drum sander dead flat, up the grits, a few seconds each grit. Checked when done, and some cupped up and some cupped down. Kind of know what I'm doing, but any thoughts on why? You know, drum sanders are finicky. I've had my fair share of drum sanders, some better than others, some with better results than others, and not necessarily in the order of price either. So one thing that I've had, Jason, it depends upon if you're putting the coasters in at already finished dimensions, whether, you know, if you're doing 3.5 by 3.5 or 4 by 4 or whatever size coaster you're doing, is what you might be getting is if you're doing it that small, some issues in between the engagement of the feed rollers, because you know you would think that a drum sander wouldn't have snipe on it, and I'm assuming you know what snipe is. It takes a cut out of the front, but they do. At least mine. I've had some that have it, and my current one does it a bit, depending. So if you're doing coasters, what I would recommend, and I know this is not where you're at, but in the future, if you were sanding coasters, I would sand like a blank. I'm assuming you probably make them in a blank. I would do, and maybe this is already what you're doing, but it's probably not, because you just said that some were cupping up, some were cupping down. I would sand the whole blank at once together. So if you had a 18-inch blank that you're running through, before you chop them up, I would absolutely do it that way first, because then you can get that engagement, like in any issues you have would be to the end. If that's not the issue, you could, I mean, this is not as common in a drum sander, but you could just, like, as you remove, anytime you remove wood, you remove material from a piece of wood, you can release tension in the wood and it will make it cup. Typically you don't see that in a drum sander because you're taking off so little. That's more like, you know, if you're planing or joining, you will see that. Definitely, like, you know, I'm sure you've had it where you cut it on the table saw and the wood, you know, bends apart. So that may be what it is, or it could just have been that it wasn't totally dry also. And so that, you know, you drum sanded it flat and then it was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not totally dry. And so, you know, it was going to do it anyway, whether you had drum sanded it or not. So unfortunately, lots of different options and opportunities for that to happen. But if you start with, you know, kiln dried or totally dry blanks that are whatever size that you're going to cut it up to, I think that's going to be your best bet at success. Jason, hope that helps.
What about, did he say they're end grain? Does the fact that they're
Oh,
end
he did
grain,
say end grain.
Does that make a difference?
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, let me go back to the drawing
Yeah,
board
my
now.
bad. I totally glossed over that part. So it, you know, obviously it's not going to be a blank the same way I was thinking about it, because if you're doing that, but I would
But you could still make a big piece, right?
But it's just like, it's doing an end grain, like an 18-inch end grain, 4 inches wide, that would be a disaster.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's like a
Actually, you know what I would probably do, Jason, if I'm just spitballing here, but if I was doing that, I would probably, and again, I'm not answering your question here, but just thinking of how to do it. If I was going to make a set of 4 coasters end grain, I would potentially make it like 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 square, and then chop it up into quarters. Then do all my drum sanding, and then chop it up into quarters.
And just see what happens.
Well, I'm
I mean,
just
like, compared to
thinking
what
of
has
how
already
to,
happened.
because you want it, you know, because end grain is best drum sanded. But no, I don't know why that would be different on an end grain. Other than just maybe it wasn't dry enough. Because end grain is going to soak up, you know, end grain is going to take moisture and release moisture a lot more than edge grain will.
Oh, sorry. All of a sudden.
Swaggy Dub, what's up? Help me start a woodworking business, and just wanted to say thank you. Swaggy Dub, that is awesome,
right,
man.
that's awesome.
That is awesome. Or woman.
Right.
I'm going to assume you're a man because, most of my audience is men. But congrats on that. Let us know what kind of business you're doing. I mean, woodworking, but like, what are you doing? You selling tables? You selling cabinetry? Will, starting getting those questions from my daughter, the other young woman. What? The questions never stopped. Oh, he's basically saying, he started.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, I feel you. And his daughter's now 26.
I feel like it's all
And the questions are still coming.
Yeah. Yeah, all the time.
Yes.
Especially at bedtime, though. That's when the big ones come out. Especially with our middle guy. It's like deep life questions when he needs to be sleeping.
This here, Katie's talking about her backsplash on the sink wall. Cabinet at the front of the kitchen is hung at 13 inches from the countertop. That's really low, Katie. At the back of the kitchen, it's 14 and a quarter. Oh my gosh, yeah, I feel like that's really low. That's a very short distance. Standard is 18. And I don't know if it's because of short people or I don't know.
Short people.
My parents, my parents are very short. My mom is very short. My mom's like under 5 feet tall.
She would not claim that. She would probably claim
shrunk.
5 feet.
She used to be 5 feet. She's now under 5 feet.
Yes.
My dad is
How tall is he?
5'6" on a good day. I think he's maybe 5'5" now.
Yeah, maybe.
And so, if I didn't look exactly like my dad, I think people would wonder. But yeah, and then my sister is 5'1", and so like whenever we're all together as a family, it's like.
It's funny.
Anyway, they got like 42-inch cabinets.
5'1"? Oh, she is 5'1". Is she? Wow. I thought she was like 5'2". Give her another inch.
Sure. Let's give it to her. She's 5'2".
Sorry. But yeah, their cabinet. Go ahead and tell me about their cabinets.
They got these nice new cabinets, but they're 42-inch cabinets. Mm-hmm. And my mom, they're so short. My mom, she couldn't even reach up to the middle basically. And so she did all the shelves, they're adjustable shelves. She made all the shelves this far apart at the bottom. And so it was shelf, 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 then a huge area because that's all she could reach.
Right. It makes sense. But it is funny when we would go over there. That was their old house, right? Yeah. And then I'm really tall. I'm 6 feet tall, and I have very long arms too, which is good and bad. But so whenever I'm there, I feel like it's, hey Susan, can you change that light bulb? Or if we're cooking, she's always like, oh yes. Will you reach the thing on the top shelf? Because otherwise she has to get a step stool
get
out.
The ladder out.
And that is definitely something I take for granted. I can reach almost, when I can't reach something, it's surprising.
Yes. Jason's daughter is 2.
Oh.
And the 2 is that's a whole nother level of questions,
yeah.
Jason. Get prepared for
2
that.
is fun but exhausting. So if you're tired, you are not alone. I remember when our firstborn was probably around 2, and he just started asking so many questions. And they say answer all the questions, encourage the questions. So we did that, but I thought
we ran out of answers.
No, I thought with a lot of other things that was going to be a phase, and then there would reach a point where he wasn't asking so many questions. That has not ever happened. They still ask a ton of questions.
They do.
I guess there's
Questions
lots of things to know.
Let's hear Halligan and Batten says just adventures that he goes on. He's trying to get into woodworking.
Well, that's fun.
Awesome.
It's a good perspective.
Yes. Let's see here. Swaggy Dub says.
I like the name.
I do too. And
fun
not
to
much
say.
space. Got a small shop, not much space. Working off of a workbench and other things to organize, but I still won't have enough space. Any recommendations? Man, that is a tough one without being able to see anything, obviously. Mm-hmm. My biggest piece of advice for anybody with a small shop is just mobility and being able to stash things against the wall. I have a nice size shop, and I still have a wall where I've got 5 different tools that all live on the wall, and when I use them, I pull them out. Mm-hmm. Other than the drill press. The drill press I typically use in place, but the bandsaw, router table, flip top, which now has the oscillating spindle sander on one side and my Craig Foreman on the other side, and then the drum sander. And so that, by and large, is going to be my biggest piece of advice, is get everything on wheels. And then, move it out as you need it, use it, move it back. It takes a little bit more time, but you'll be able to have a lot more in your shop to access with a little effort.
And use all the little nooks and crannies that you have, because I remember when you were in the basement. Oh gosh, maybe that was the first house in Ohio. I mean, Brad was like, like what are those things called up in the ceilings in a basement? Those little cross thingies.
Like
when you're in the basement with an unfinished ceiling, what are those?
Like the
cross beams?
joists? Oh, usually like the...
You would like slide stuff up in there, right?
Yeah. Well, the bracing in between the joists.
My point is, like, he would use the walls and he would use the ceilings if possible. Just like don't rule out any little space that you have.
Get as much utility out of every square foot that you can. It's like a flip top cart. If you don't have one, shameless plug. Go check that out.
But it is very space efficient.
Having two tools in a small footprint versus just one is always a good thing.
Yep.
And apparently I've been butchering. Is it baton? Halligan's and batons. Baton? Baton?
What?
Baton? I don't know. He said I butchered. I butcher everything. Sorry about that.
He does his best.
Yes.
French or something.
So it was all kiln dried. Oh. Jason, I don't.
That's a bummer.
I have no answers, Jason. Mistakes were made.
Sorry.
Just go with that.
Yeah. Just say it was like a design element. It's an adventure if it's going to hold your water or knock it over.
Yeah. Swaggy Dub, he's doing a lot of smaller stuff and some tables and benches. That's awesome. Just getting into it. That's a perfect way to start because those are nice and easy. It's low overhead as far as building them, and it's a great way to start. That's how I started in woodworking when I was like, I thought I was gonna go into woodworking actual commissions full time, and that's exactly what I started with. I was doing cutting boards and small things, little small desks and display
benches.
things.
That's when you
benches.
did the shoe bench.
Yep.
The first one.
Yep. And so that is a great place to start, and then you can progress from there. Let's see what else we have here. They were 100% flat off the sander. Hey, Jason, if they're flat off the sander, then obviously it's not your sander. It would probably be either it taking up moisture, because you're saying it was so dry, it could have been it taking up moisture, or if you were palm sanding it, you can definitely make things go the wrong way.
So finicky.
It is finicky. I always had issues with ingrain boards, like they'd want to move on
Even
you.
like the big solid cutting boards?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is one of
so
those
most of the
things
that
you
board,
see it and
you'll get it.
straight
Well, that's why you put rubber feet on them.
Oh.
Because you lay it flat and I'll be like, and like two corners are typically, that's how it typically works. Is that, so instead of like cupping or bowing, what I've always found is that it's always opposite corners. So if you did, it'll rock back and forth.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. As Frank said, he's 6'4" and his wife 5 feet. So building cabinets is gonna be a challenge.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Try to.
I saw a kitchen. I saw a kitchen on Instagram or something, and the bottom, where your drawer would be right underneath the cabinet or the counter. I mean. They had like these big. It looked like a big fat drawer handle that was like a big rod or whatever, and I thought it was decorative. But it was like on all the drawer fronts around the kitchen, and they definitely made a design element. It looked kind of cool. They had these big, long, the drawer pulls are like a big rod-like handle. But what they had was this little step stool that they could hook. The person could hook onto like any one of them. And then it was just, I think this was like one of those kitchens you see on Instagram that's just ginormous. So it wasn't going to be in your way or whatever. But I thought that was pretty smart.
Like a library cabinet.
Yeah, but like it just was like, you need to get over here, bloop, and then you can get right up into the cabinet.
Susan and I both, like we have this like fascination with, like library for different reasons. We both like books, but I don't read as much anymore. But I used to be like a huge magazine guy. But anyway, I feel like we both would love to have like a library with like one of those ladders that rolls along.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be so cool.
And like really cozy reading
nooks.
Fireplace.
And leather
Dream
couches.
house. One day we'll have just
wood
a
paneling.
reading room.
Yeah.
Or like we could just watch movies
Conference
in there
ceiling.
too. It could be a double duty. It could be a home theater / reading room.
Sure.
I was just saying. It would be very dark. And...
Katie was just sharing that.
What?
That she had raised her nephew was raising her nephew, and one day he asked, "Where did I come from?" And so Katie had the bird and the bees conversation.
Yeah.
And at the end, she realized he just wanted to know what hospital it was from.
That's awesome. He was probably like, listen, Aunt Katie, I'm not even interested in all this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes.
I would do that. I would 100%. Because you're like, all right, I'm ready for this. I'm ready. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to answer the questions. And they're like, no, that was not my question. I retract my question. That's so funny.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, Jason, you know what you could do, Jason, potentially. I don't know, that might be weird, but like if it was...
Put feet on them.
Well, I was thinking maybe like, what if you... Design element, right? You always hear like, turn it into a design element. What if you made, I don't know what your thoughts are on epoxy, but if you've got
How do you feel about epoxy?
If you've got these coasters and they're jacked up on the bottom, you don't want them to rock. I mean, nobody can tell about the top. The top doesn't matter. What if you made a little form, put a 1/4 inch of colored epoxy in there, if it would go well with the wood, and then like set the wood in? You'd have to figure out some kind of little spacer or whatever to hold them in place and not, just squish out all the epoxy. But what if you did that and made it almost like a cookie sandwich, where it's like the top is wood and the bottom is epoxy, and then that would be dead flat because the mold would be dead flat. You
could put something cool in there too. I would think it's worth a shot. If you're at the point where you're like, I'm not going to use these.
The easiest
and
way.
And you like epoxy, that could be a fun experiment.
If you've got some room to play with, and I think that actually, Jason, now that I think about this, depending upon how thick, if you've gone under, which I assume you probably have, if you've gone under 3/4 of an inch, especially if you go under 1/2 inch, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of problems. I'm just like, it's all processing in my head now. You want the end grain, you want it to be as thick as possible for flatness. The more narrow you get, it's gonna, because it's just like there's no, it goes along, the grain doesn't, there's nothing holding that because it's the edge grain that holds it flat. So yes, like coasters, you're probably not having big, fatty, thick, you're definitely not having an inch coaster, I wouldn't assume. And so if you're doing that,
it's like a coaster for a giant or something,
right. But what I was thinking is like, I assume, if you've already tried to sand it flat by hand, now, if you have a little room to play with, stick some sandpaper, a sheet of sandpaper on your table saw and just try to sand it flat and see if it stays that way. So. And
then do the epoxy.
I mean, we have gone deep, Jason. I mean,
we are invested.
I'm sure these are amazing.
You need to let us know what happens.
These are just coasters.
With the coasters. But I mean,
I'm sure you could remake them. I know he did.
He had grand plans.
Listen, I know. It's no small task to make end grain coasters.
Seriously.
I get this.
Like end grain anything.
I know. But I think.
But yes, we want to know how these things turn out.
Half epoxy and end grain.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
I feel like your sister would like that.
Oh, is this for a sister?
Stepsister.
Stepsister.
I
missed that part.
I feel like apparently she's going to toss in on a saw stop or something.
What?
I don't know.
There's a saw stop hanging in the balance here?
That they've got to be perfect.
They have to be perfect. What?
Perfect.
Are you kidding me?
I'm reading in between the lines a little bit, but no, he said they have to be perfect.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Is she definitely
Jonathan Arises, what's up, man?
Wow. Hey, Jonathan.
Been missing you.
Wow. That's high stakes.
I don't know.
You know what? If there's how could he do like a monogram on them with the epoxy?
Yeah, well, I mean.
Just saying.
You could carve
I don't
it
know
by
how
hand.
you would do that though.
I mean, if you don't have a CNC, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
Not impossible. Freehand route a monogram. See how that turns out.
Don't do that.
Unless you're an artiste. I don't want to shortchange you.
Right.
Maybe like I'm sure there are plenty of people that could do that. But
right.
I am
we are
not one of them.
No. Oh gosh.
It would be like kids chicken scratch.
Well, our daughter was telling me the other day, like she's like, and I can't even. She was having a dramatic moment. She's 10. She's like, and I can't even draw a person very well. And I was like, listen. I'm a
come by it honestly.
grown adult. I can't draw a person. Like, if people are like, when's the last time you sat down with a pencil and a paper and tried to draw a human being? Like, you look like most of the people, like you're in the 3rd grade. Like, it's not good.
No.
You probably, yours is pretty good, probably.
Mine would be fine.
But yeah, I would be horrible with a coaster and freehand. It'd be bad. All right,
Oh.
moving on. What?
Jason says walnut, brick, and mortar. Oh gosh.
What?
So
What?
That's really involved.
Walnut what?
Like brick and mortar, like a brick pattern. So like walnut bricks and maple mortar.
That got me very confused.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you didn't put brick and mortar through it, but I was confused.
Half inch.
Walnut. So she was very specific in her
Yeah.
desired coasters.
What is this? A coaster for ants? Yes, exactly.
Oh man, that's tough.
That's a great movie. We should watch that.
What?
Zoolander.
Oh gosh, it's been so long.
It has been a long time. We should definitely watch that.
We should. Be fun. I can't see any of these. You
I was
sit
just
there
laughing. No, I just love that.
I just
we
keep
have
looking at it,
really
I can't
invested
read.
in these coasters.
I know.
And Jason's like, don't get too invested. Like, no, we need updates.
We need
next
to
week,
know, Jason.
We've got to have
Yes.
updates. This is fantastic. Oh, I love it. All right, guys. Well, it seems like she just got.
I did. I'm like, oh, we're done already?
We're an hour deep, so
Right.
I'm actually
That
going to
happens.
mount some drawers tonight.
Yes.
So
He's got work yet to do.
I gotta have the video ready for Chris in the morning. So
Get to work, man.
yeah, I gotta get working. So thank you guys for joining us. Best of luck to Jason and his coasters. And if anybody
We'll
else
be
is
thinking
dealing
of you
with
all week, Jason.
dealing with coasters or any other crazy project,
Yep.
our thoughts are with you. So come join us next Sunday, and we will find out what happened to Jason. Jason, you cannot miss next Sunday. Pressure's on.
No pressure, but
All
we
right,
need
guys.
to know.
Yeah, have a great week. Build something awesome this week, and we will see you next week.